This is Paul Newman, and if you are seeing this screen, I am hoping to assure you here that the live stream will start very soon. So please stay tuned. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. We're a bit strapped for time today. We're not going to Reprieve Media CIC Racing 2020.ml is the place to find other horses that have been identified a few years ago. Maybe they were identified in bumpers or something then and are going over hurdles or fences now. That's the site to check any other horses, but we're going to crack on now and set a good pace, like hopefully this horse will do all through his career. The horse I'm referring to is Indiana Dream. We'll look at it firstly quickly on the Racing Post, owned by JP McManus and trained by Willie Mullins. You will see that the horse in 2 runs has not lost a race. It won a French bumper at Fontainebleau in February 2022 and then won the race we're going to look at soon, a maiden hurdle, having been transferred to Ireland at Fairyhouse by 15 lengths on New Year's Day 2023. One thing with this horse is actually quite interesting. It's the first one really that I can show you with any difficulty. It is not a thoroughbred. It is an AQPS horse. So all the legacy sites, the thoroughbred sites, we can't use for this horse. You know, AQPS horses are bred in France. They're like sports horses, I suppose, in Ireland. Is the best, or quarter horses in America. AQPS means 3/4 pourcent in French. AQ is 3/4 in French, an abbreviation for that. You know, this gelding by Cocorico out of Tamise could be quite hard to trace on certain sites as a result of that. But we're going to try and use the France Gallup website to see how the best we got on. It's also a good example really of what I was saying. The horse won at Fairyhouse, the Racing Post, it says left France. To Great Britain it says there, but it has gone to Ireland. I've not even bothered putting the horses ran at Fairyhouse on New Year's Day. Sometimes they do and other times they don't. But you'll see now that the regarding form, the horse doesn't really exist for the Racing Post. You'll see the dam, Tamise, is out of Sleeping Car, out of a dam called Gold Cup. You'll see France Gallup, I think it's a good guide, another AQ there, horse there. They are saying that this is a unraced horse. And she has bred 42, horses have raced 42 times, bred by her, and have won 11 races. And you'll see there that we're already hitting the black type there as well. You'll see the italics of Ebonite and Gironde. You know, you'll see they are black type horses and they are confirmed by this also. Ebonite was in fact rated 145, and if people look at her form, Ebonite, you will see that she was a top class chaser in France. The Ebonite, winner of the 2020 Prix Murat Group 2. You know, she's also won a Grade 3 there before that in 2020, the Prix Troy Town. You know, this is a good filly. This is a good jumps filly. You know, who's shown a high level of form all through her French career. You know, and the other ones, the types were Hillary. They are saying that has black type somewhere, but not one according to the other. This is where you sort of have to use your discernment really. They are telling me that Hillary is a black type horse on the Racing Post. The Grade 1 AQPS National Hunt Flat Race, second. You know, but for some reason, France Gallup just not including that. They are telling me that Hillary has won 1 out of 4 races. You No black type as of yet, but Gironde is another one who secured black type in 2018. You'll see the Racing Post only rating Gironde at 126. But if you look on the France Galop website, she's won 4 out of 14 races. Listed second there at Lyon Pays over fences. And is that the best that she managed? Yes, it is. So she just managed to scrape some listed prize, and as of yet, no foals for her. Ebonite, on the other hand, you'll see that she might have already foaled already, having retired in 2020. We're looking forward to these if she has, and she hasn't as of yet. There you will see a 22 race career where she in fact won 5 times. Second dam of the horses was by Quart du Vin, Gold Cup it was called, and again you see you're hitting slight black type performances here as well. Even the Racing Post is familiar with some of these AQPS horses in France that have gained some black type. Gold Cup, the Racing Post telling us only raced once on the flat. According to that was 99th, but I'm not sure there was actually that many runners in the race. You'll see that 73 foals of Gold Cup have raced 73 times, 8 have raced 73 times and won 17 times. You'll see that the 2 there are both foals, so we can have a look at both of them. Fillies, and we can see if they've foaled anything of any use as well. Both raised just over 130,000 francs. Cuisas Jolie's had a very high strike rate, winning 6 out of 12 races, and she was a listed winner at Auteuil in 2019. So far, pretty disappointing at stud. 58 races and only 3 victories. That's only in France, though, don't forget. If they've raced anywhere else, they won't be on here. So it's always good to double reference these horses here to see if any of them have made it to the UK. Cuisas Jolie is the one we're looking at the moment. You'll see there that Django was actually rated 133 and a slight black type performance, but it's one he raced 53 times. You'd expect to finish third in a listed race at some point, wouldn't you? That's why I look at form like that, especially out in France. And the other one, Orani Jolie, you see, it won 5 out of 14 times, and she was a little bit better, winning a £40,500 handicap, and finishing placed in a Grade 3 hurdle. Again, you see, off the flat, as soon as they got to the black type, retired to the Stallion Barn. So they tend to do it in French. This one is a bit better. 51 races, 11 victories. Again, there doesn't look, they're all going around nicely in France. See the AQPS horses. Unbeaten one there, look. I seen Jolie. What that one's doing now. And you'll see this, it's only 5. But that's for another day if we remember that horse somehow. But you'll see then again, you see that this one, there's no black type according to either the Racing Post or France Galop. It is then when things get quite interesting regarding the Racing Post, because the Gold Cup second dam was only born in 1994. This horse is not old. But again, you see the Racing Post just refuse to tell us who the dam of Gold Cup is for some reason. Obviously, the good people at France Galop are not as secretive. We can see that the dam is called Countess Fellow. So then what would happen if people typed Countess Fellow into the Racing Post website, they will see that they know the date of the birth. See, they're just refusing to link the two horses again. Tut, tut, tut. And then you will see, people will see that Countess Folly is actually the dam of Original, who was rated 150 out in France, trained by Marcel Roland. But again, you see, it's starting to get a bit murky on the Racing Post. This one, the SF, is a French sports horse. You know, that's a French sport horse and another French sport horse. And that is an AQ, a three-quarter horse. So you can see here, we're not messing with thoroughbreds, but this doesn't seem to matter in France. You get some very good horses coming through. You'll see Countess Fellow, 51 races for 8 victories in the shed and unraced herself. And there you will see Original, again just short of over 200,000. Yeah, it might be worth clicking on a few of these. We're getting into old mares now just to see what they bred. An Extremis and a Noria. Gold Cup we have, you see, they're already on there. In Extremis never raced. She's breeding winners, you see. And there's a decent one there. It's nearly £500,000. Called Quartmont, not pounds. Obviously it'd be francs at this time, or euros. Quartmont raced a lot of times towards 11, 12 and 13. It was a pattern race horse. He's actually a winner of a Group 3 hurdle. Group 3 steeplechase, sorry, in 2011. Also placed in the Grade 1 steeplechase in 2013. Yeah, that's a proper horse that's come off this line as well. And then if we look at Honoria quickly, we will see that she raced 1 out of 6 times. And according to these, bred nothing. Should be worrying. You know, we have to believe what they say. Yeah, we're suckers to our own self sometimes. Sometimes I do have to sort of check, even though this is very optimistic. You see, it's another one, Honoria from 1995. It is. You see, so let's see if it bred anything according to the Racing Post. You see, this is how you have to do the jigsaws. This is sort of like a jigsaw. It really is, sometimes looking for horses. You know, you have to go on a bit of a crusade to get all the pieces of the puzzle in one place. As you see, nothing there bred from Honoria, so we will accept that is the case. Countess Fellow, again, the Racing Post refusing to tell us what the third dam of this horse is. Luckily, again, France Gallop are not as secretive with their information. Loronaise is the 4th dam of the horse. So on the Racing Post, we can link that in as well. So we get both 4 dams on both sides, and then you will see Loronaise is the dam of the Gold Cup winner, the Fellow. Would you Adam and Eve it? You know, Racing Post again, you see, you have to say they could have done a lot more to get people from the 2nd dam of this horse, owned by Ireland's biggest gambler, JP McManus, to the modern day. They managed to get it to there, and then they started masking straight away, look, really, with Gold Cup not even being listed as Countess Fellow, not being listed as the 3rd dam of the 2nd dam, and again they're up to their tricks again with the 4th dam, the Loronaise, and there you have the Fellow. Even that, you see, could be leaving a little bit off the bones, because you look at a horse called Al Capone the 2nd in France, a full brother to the Fellow, 3 years after, and that horse won nearly 3 times as much prize money as the Fellow. The Fellow went to England, and Al Capone stayed in France. You know, this is not 26 wins out of 65. Jenner's Grade 1 winning chase there. Look, Grade 2 winning chase, 1999. Grade 1 chase, there you go, loads of chases and hurdles. £83,000 race there, £182,000 race there. Deemed as non-pattern races. I don't know when they started doing the French jumps pattern. You know, it's something that the French don't really seem to be interested in at all. The French pattern into the turn of the century. You've got races worth £121,000 for this horse, the winner, not even classed as pattern races. Let's see what the Racing Post makes of this horse then. What they've got this rated as. There you go, look, raced once and lost. What can you say about that? I mean, how can a website be as unfit for purpose as this? The horse has won a third of 65 races and nearly 3 million francs. It's half brother to our Gold Cup winner, the Fellow. A full brother, sorry. The Racing Post just aren't giving us anything. That says it all really about the Racing Post. But this horse here, you have to say, Indiana Dream. What a prospect. Truly incredible prospect. We've got no trouble taking it through black type really. But all four of the first four dams. We get to a Gold Cup winner. We get to a Grade 2 winning chaser in Ebonite. You know, we've got other good horses here as well. We saw Original, Monquart, or whatever that other one was called. Orange Jolie, Quizash Jolie. And this is a very interesting horse, I feel. Especially once a professional gambler like JP McManus tries to buy it. You know, it's an interesting horse. It's got the good pedigree as well that some of these AQPS horses they just don't have. So before we wrap this video up, let's see the horse win at Fairyhouse on New Year's Day, shall we? In the fog.
He is relatively weak in the market. Indiana Dream, he's going to be ridden quite prominently, as is Knockin' Hard Lady and Envie.
They're off over 2.5 miles in the second race, the ITM Stallion Trail, 13th to 14th of January maiden hurdle. Karuma Gray, one of the early leaders with Envie alongside, jumping up to the 2 was Umfudus. A slow jump by Ebenezer Scrooge at that first flight. As Karuma Gray disputes it early on with Envie and Umfudus, being followed by Indiana Dream, Mr. Bowes on the outside of Arthur Dark, as they head on to flight number 2 inside their final 2.25 miles. Karuma Gray on the outside of Envie, precious little between them, with Umfudus and Indiana Dream, the four almost abreast, being followed round the bend for the approach to the straight the first time by Arthur Dark and the 9 Graces and Knockin' Hard Lady on the heels of the leaders. Mr. Bowes, Sagecraft and Forby come next with Huckleberry River, and then west of Cottig and Ebenezer Scrooge, and then Pay Later. It was followed by Stellify and Final Payments, White Cap of Pick a Number, and then Pirate Bonnie, being followed to flights 3 and 4 on the home straight by Getaway Molly. After Getaway Molly is Le Sin Bin, King's Commander, the overall back marker. Flight number 3 coming up 2 miles from the finish. And as they rise, it's Envie landing with a fractional advantage from Umfudus, Indiana Dream, the hoop colours and white cap against the running rail. Then Karuma Gray and Knockin' Hard Lady with Arthur Dark and 9 Graces and Sagecraft and Forby and Mr. Bow as they stream up in front of us, having negotiated their first 4 flights. Little between, Envie and Umfudus. Karuma Gray goes back to join them with Indiana Dream on the inside, being followed away with the circuit to go by Forby and then Arthur Dark. Knockanard Lady and Nine Graces and Mr. Bow and Sagecraft, being followed by Ebenezer Scrooge and Huckleberry River, west of Cardiff, a couple of lengths to Pay Later and Stella Fine, Pirate Bonnie and Pick a Number. Final payments next with Lucin Bin and Getaway Molly, and continuing in last place, heading to the first of the two flights away from the stands is King's Commander. Well enough stacked up as they jumped this first flight past the stands, where Forby made a mistake and slightly inconvenienced on V. Going up towards the next, just outside the halfway stage, on Furris, alongside is Indiana Dream, followed by Forby, and on V next, and they're tracked by Heart to Dark. Nine Graces the rail with Knockanard Lady. As they reach the halfway stage, another 5 flights left to jump, and the ITM Stallion Trail, 13th to 14th of January, maiden hurdle over 2.5 miles. Little between Forby, who just nudges ahead of On Furris and Indiana Dream, tracked by On V, and then Karumba Grey, Arthur Dark, Mr. Bow on the outside of Knockanard Lady, and then Nine Graces. And Ebenezer Scrooge, the back marker of the leading group, is Sagecraft as they go away. Just over a mile to go and 5 flights to jump. Leading by a half is Forby from Indiana Dream and On Furris and On V. These 4 covered by a couple of lengths as they race on towards the 7 furlong point, and the point at which they started. 4 flights left to jump. Indiana Dream joins issue with On Furris, Forby. Going up to them once more is On V with Karuma Grey. Heart to Dark, Knockanard Lady tracks with Mr. Bow, and then Ebenezer Scrooge and Nine Graces 2 lengths to Sagecraft for the jump. And it's tight for the lead. On V, On Furris, Indiana Dream, attended by Karuma Grey, as they've got 3 flights left to jump and a little over half a mile to go. And it's On V, Karuma Grey, On Furris. On the inside is Indiana Dream, followed by Knockanard Lady and Mr. Bow and Arthur Dark and Nine Graces as they head for the 3rd last flight on the approach to the straight. Karuma Grey from the outside in with On V, Indiana Dream, tracked by an improving Mr. Bow, and then Knockanard Lady, Arthur Dark, Nine Graces. Wakening is On Furris, being pulled up as Forby. Running the home turn with 2 to jump, Indiana Dream through on the inside of On V. On the outside, delivering a challenge is Mr. Bow, followed by Knockanard Lady and Nine Graces and Touch. Heart to Dark under pressure, and then Ebenezer Scrooge as these go away from Karuma Grey. Straightening for the final 2 flights, little between Indiana Dream, ridden along to
look,
lie up with the leader is On V.
The horse is on the
Then
bridle,
Nine
and the rest
Graces,
are
Mr.
flat
Bow,
out. Now he
Knockanard
has to
Lady,
sit.
being followed by Ebenezer Scrooge as they arrive at the second last. Indiana Dream on the far side of On V. In 3rd place is Nine Graces, then Knockanard Lady on the run of the final flight, and it's Indiana Dream and Luke Dempsey kicking clear. The final flight, Indiana Dream over with a widening advantage. On V second, and 3rd place is Nine Graces, and it's Indiana Dream bringing up a double across the board for Willie Mullins. Wins very, very easily this one. Indiana Dream is one for the tracker. Second goes to On V, and the Nine Graces, Knockanard Lady and Ebenezer Scrooge. Well cleared of Mr. Bow.
Yes, a really taken performance by Indiana Dream. Is across the car, double for Willie Mullins.
I mean, that was an impressive performance, I think, without any shadow of a doubt. And I think that marks Indiana Dream down as a very promising novice hurdler. I mean, obviously we've looked at the pedigree of the horse. We know this is a chaser. So it could be argued that whatever it does over hurdles this season just whets the appetite for this horse over fences, as far as I'm concerned, especially. You know, you've seen the pedigree. It's very closely related to Gold Cup winners like the Fellow, horses that have dominated French jumping, Al Capone, Grade 2 winning hurdle chasers, Ebonite. You know, there's some very nice horses in the pedigree of this horse, without any shadow of a doubt. I mean, I don't think I've tried chanced many by Cocorico. He's actually one of the most used sires in the world, the French stallion Cocorico. I think he does about over 200 mares a summer, maybe even more than that, or around 200. And you know, this is a very interesting horse to me. Right, I'm going to wrap this video up now. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Thank you very much for watching the video. And what I'll do at the end is I will include a couple of steers at the end of the video. One of them will be to enable those who wish to subscribe to the channel so they don't miss any other horses or any other content news moving forward. And the next one will just be a link to a playlist, all the other National Hunt horses that we've taken a look at since October time. We've been watching for quite a while now, a few months, and we've got 14 or 15 nice ones on the playlist. I think this is the 14th. We've definitely got one more to do at this stage, heading into February. Right, okay, everybody, that'll do now. Enough of me banging on. Take care, everybody. You look after yourselves, and thank you very much for watching.